All right. Is this too loud? Looks like that's working. Nice. Let's check up on the... let's not do that. Dark mode. All right, so that's installed. Hopefully I have all the stuff that I need in there. So what I was going to attempt earlier today is that... It's so hard to read. This thing is, we'll make that llama.cpp project, hopefully, but there are some incompatibility issues, so hopefully this little tag in the back fixes that. I kind of doubt it, but we'll find out. So I'm going to go to the AI directory. Did I read the long message? Oh. Let's see. Oh no, I didn't see that. 2 years ago, shot another concert in the same venue that made a song. And the artist from tonight made a cover of the last summer that was top radio song. So I heard the original and the radio cover at the same concert. Okay. Okay, coincidence. I get it. All right. Yeah, some weird things happen occasionally. Yeah. What type of lenses and stuff we're using for that concert? Let's see. Build. It's empty. No, it's not empty. 18 to 35, 50 to 100, and 120 to 300. Okay. Assume that 120 to 300 is a sigma. Sounds pretty nice. Oops. Build. Where's build? There it is. Yeah, okay, all sigma. Nice. Whoops. Have too many windows going on. There it is. Pull that up. Hopefully this works. It's good. Did not work. Make error. Call stack. Man, this is so stupid. Let me copy all of this. And then have to copy paste between Notepad++ for some reason to get it out of the remote desktop. So let me pull that up on the other computer. Are you saying 2 years ago, you had the Sigma 7200 f2.8, 30 1.4EX. I vaguely remember the 30 is a popular one. Yeah, a jump in lens quality. All right, so I guess I could show this again. The chat window thing. What is that now? Hmm. Well, it doesn't look like I can get the chat thing showing up on the screen for some reason. But that's okay. Yeah. Was it behind this? No. Weird. No, I just had to swap it. I feel like there's a bug in OBS or something. This is odd. So I'm just having it try to show a browser window and it's not cooperating. Just made a massive sized overlay. Maybe I can set it to the stretch to screen. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it just made it huge for some reason. Whoops. Now the aspect ratio is messed up. Scale filtering. Transform. Stretch to screen. Reset transform. Okay. That was odd. There we go. Yeah. That. All right. So I'm going to paste in this error into this thing. Oh, well, that's not it. Let's see. Copy. Paste. There we go. See what it does. I should be editing video instead, but I'm to the point where I want it to work, so I keep trying. Before you let the indexer do
its thing, I think it's a good idea to use the catalog feature. Otherwise, it's not going to find all the photos and videos in your archive because it just, as far as I understand it, it's going to only scan what you look at in the program. So that's going to really not catch everything unless you just manually go through the entire archive and look at stuff. That doesn't make any sense. So use the catalog feature in the program to fully find everything that's available so that the indexer can do its thing.
So we're good there. Let's make sure those are on.
But you can see I fully scanned my archive at this point, so we're good there.
Doing too much multitasking. Let's see. So it says incredible but subtle error. We're getting closer. The CUDA path is fixed and CMake now finds your CUDA installation. The bad news is that no tool set was found. Flag didn't work because this failure happens before the install the VS 2019 toolset inside 2022. My goodness. Open the Visual Studio installer. Whoops, that's the wrong start menu. There we go. Then it says find your installation, click modify. And then go into individual components of what? Oh, right here. And then search V142. Okay. This is crazy. These things are impressive. Now it says check the box next to V142 Visual Studio 2019 C++ x64 x86 build tools. There's ARM. This one. Yeah, I think that's it. Let me see if there's anything else I should put in here just in case. It's MFC and AL. I don't know what ATL is. All right. Modify. Yes. All right. Clean and rerun CMake with the toolset flag. -T. Open a new x64 native tool command prompt. What even is this? I've been using crap. This. I assume it's inside Visual Studio. They call it PowerShell with one word. Yeah. All right. So it's doing the thinking, and I can expand that if I want to read what it's doing here. Yeah, so it says understanding the core difference, pinpointing the key differences, comparing environments, elaborating the benefits, simplifying the workflow. Can I hide this? There we go. You should absolutely be using the x64 native tool command prompt for Visual Studio instead of the standard PowerShell window. It's critical distinction. Okay. Think of this as a special version of CMD. How do I launch it? uh, uh, Makes you want to build a NAS system? Yeah, that'd be fun. There's a large group on Reddit for this stuff, but also there's a large group on Reddit for home lab use. So they do stuff like this probably. And a bunch of servers and things. There's also a YouTuber that does Raspberry Pi stuff and home lab stuff. He seems pretty cool. I'm trying to remember what his name is. Let's see. I'm sure there's a few. I don't know that guy. I'm surprised he's not coming up in here he is. Jeff. I watch a bunch of his videos. Jeff Geerling. He's got 1 million subscribers now. Wow. Clearly very good at videos. So you're saying there's also a NAS Discord server. Oh. Interesting. Like an open source version of it, maybe? That would make sense. I could see that being useful for friends or something. He does a bunch of interesting videos on home lab stuff. He also does videos on time code and such. So yeah, here's building a $3,000 Pi AI cluster. Let's see. True NAS and a Raspberry Pi NAS. Yeah, I guess he does do like more Raspberry Pi focused, which is kind of his niche, but still very interesting stuff. Mini NAS with some M.2 SSDs in it. Pretty cool. Project Mini Rack, a home lab revolution type thing. Yeah, that was a good one. Visual Studio 2026. I'm going to wait on that. All right, let's see if this... Oh. How do I... Whoops. Is it in Visual Studio itself or what? So background. Of course, here's a simple step-by-step of opening. Easiest method, using the start menu. Search for x64 native tools. Okay. So I need to run it as administrator. There we go. Just to get rid of that. All right. I'm so used to this now, which is crazy because this technology is still very new, but it saves so much time having to search out and read documents by hand and all that stuff. But I mean, it's not to say this is perfect, because it definitely isn't. So it says clear the build directory, and then, oh, I don't know if that's right. It's not including the other thing. Well, we'll see. CD. What? Whoops. T. There we go. Put that in there and see what happens. Oh, didn't do anything. Oh, I need to delete. Yes. Yeah, for some reason it didn't include. Oh, I guess maybe the dash T V142. There's a warning. But warnings aren't necessarily bad. Okay. So, yeah, this llama.cpp thing is the thing that runs the model itself. There's something called Ollama, which is like a easier, much easier overlay to this thing. But I wanted to see if I could use the base and hopefully have more flexibility. Oh no. It didn't work. So I'm going to give it this error and see what happens. Copy that, and then I have to paste it into here and then recopy it. Yep. It's some weird quirk of the remote desktop software. Is that? See if I can edit some stuff while I'm waiting for that. Indexer do its
thing. I think it's a good idea to use the catalog feature. Otherwise, it's not going to find all the photos and videos in your archive because it just, as far as I understand it, it's going to only scan what you look at in the program. So that's going to really not catch everything unless you just manually go through the entire archive and look at stuff. That doesn't make any sense. So use the catalog feature in the program to fully find everything that's available so that the indexer can do its thing.
Okay. You can access
that's from ACDC Photo Studio 2026. You can access it with this tile here, but you can also go to the menu. So you're going to go into Tools, Database, Catalog Files. And in this case, I have my two folders that I wanted to access. You have a bunch of options here for other things that I can.
You can access.
That's from ACDC Photo Studio 2026. You can access it with this tile here, but you can also go to the menu. So you're going to go into Tools, Database, Catalog Files.
Read keywords
that are not from ACDC or any other data inside the photos. But things like, you can also read face data and other things.
Done editing for tonight? Nice. You can also read face
data and other things that had existed previously, so you can enable it.
Whoops. But things like, you
have a bunch of options here for other things that it can do. It can read keywords that are not from ACDC or any other data inside the photos.
Let's see. You do have
A bunch of options here you can enable. Of course, some of this is going to make things much slower depending on what you want to do. I don't do
from ACDC.
or any other data inside the photos. You do have a bunch of options.
You have a bunch
of options.
Oops. Just reset it. And in this case,
I have my 2 folders that I wanted to access. You do have a bunch of options here. You can
so you're going to go into
tools, database, catalog, files.
Probably good. You do have a bunch of
options here you can enable. Of course, some of this is going to make things much slower depending on what you want to do. I don't do all of the...
Do you use Lightroom and such for the edits? I don't do all
of the thumbnail creation. It's really, really slow.
I think I mentioned this before, but I mean, this is not a good multi-photo editing thing, but Affinity's free now. It's a nice kind of Photoshop alternative classic. Okay. I use the ACDC Photo Studio for the managing of photos. It's okay. Don't do
all of the thumbnail creation. It's really, really slow, and over 22 terabytes. I had tried it and it just didn't make any sense, and it doesn't actually do the face detection and AI keywords in this catalog process at all, as far as I can tell. So there's really no point to do thumbnail generation unless you really want to for some reason.
Let's see, this is... I don't know if I spelled that right. And
in my case, file formats, I wanted to look at images and videos. The specific version of ACDC does more with video now, so it does access video metadata and lets you read it and stuff.
I totally zoned out on that.
In my case, file formats, I wanted to look at images and videos. The specific version of ACDC does more with video now, so it does access video metadata and lets you read it and stuff.
It's probably usable. All right. In this case, we do have a bunch of other options. Oh, it just crashed.
Try
awesome.
to read face data from...
Yep. Let me just make sure it's not stuck in memory. Nope. All right. Pull that back up. Repair the CUDA installation. We need to make it aware of that tool set. Oh. Man, this is really something. So, minimize that. I'm going to close that. I'm just going to delete that and remake it. New folder. Empty. And then add or remove programs. Actually, I could go into downloads. This thing. This is all related to the old GPU in Windows. I would assume on Linux it would be a little bit easier. but maybe not. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's taking its sweet time. You do
thumbnail generation, unless you really want to for some reason.
And in my case, file formats, I want it to
look at images and videos. This specific version of ACDC does more with video.
So it does
access video metadata.
All right. In this case, we do have a bunch of other options. Doing that catalog process is a necessity. Yeah, that's good. Let's go back to here. Custom. Don't want those unless there's something else in here that I need. No. Nope. Hopefully this works. Yeah, that's probably going to take a little bit. The fastest part will be the catalog process unless you try to generate. Doing that catalog process
is a necessity in this case, just to make sure it finds everything, but then we let the indexer do its thing afterwards.
And then
letting the indexer do its thing is just going to take a really long time. It took multiple days in my case for the 22 terabytes.
But then we
let the indexer do its thing afterwards. It took multiple days in my case for the 22 terabytes. Now that will depend on your computer speed, your drive speed, your GPU speed, all the things in your computer that you're going to dedicate to this. But in my case, it's a GTX 1060 NVIDIA card with 6 gigabytes of RAM and a somewhat older Intel CPU with 4 cores. So I was a bit limited on speed, but it's quick enough.
And I finally
managed to scan the entire archive, let the indexer do its thing, and I was good to go. And the fun part is looking at this dashboard, looking at all of the very interesting information. So this archive obviously doesn't have everything that I've taken, photos and video-wise, but it does have a vast majority.
I finally managed
to scan the entire archive, let the indexer do its thing, and I was good to go. And the fun part is looking at this dashboard, looking at all of the very interesting information. So this archive obviously doesn't have everything that I've taken.
Archive statistics. Very interesting information.
So this archive obviously doesn't have everything that...
Whoops. Don't want that. But
it's quick enough. So this archive obviously doesn't have everything that I've taken, photos and video-wise, but it does have a vast majority. So it's cool to see how much stuff I've done over the years. Started around 2002, 2003, and up till now with YouTube, just taking photos for fun or doing jobs here and there, things like that. With such a massive archive, it's going to be relatively slow accessing some of these features that compile information and stuff.
Of course, that will depend
on your computer. So a faster computer in this case, dedicating a fast computer with fast storage.
With such a
massive archive, it's going to be relatively slow accessing some of these features that compile information and stuff.
Dedicating a fast computer with fast storage to
this would be ideal, but yeah, it's another expense. In this case, I just needed to use what I had on hand to make it work.
Compile
information and stuff. With such a massive archive, it's going to be relatively slow accessing some of these features that compile information and stuff. Dedicating a fast computer with fast storage to this would be ideal, but yeah, it's another expense. In this case, I just needed to use what I had on hand to make it work.
in that dash.
In the
That's cool. All right, let's give this another shot. Copy. Oh, I needed to do, what was it, X? All right. Actually, we should run this as administrator. Yes. See users. Whoops. Said the wrong key. Slash build. See if it works. I doubt it, but we'll see. I've been taking photos long enough that I have 2 sets of yearly
photo counts. But we can see the database size is 14.3 gigabytes. Over that, 22 terabytes of photos.
Relatively slow.
Accessing some of these features that compile information and stuff. Dedicating a fast computer with fast storage to this would be ideal, but yeah, it's another expense. In this case, I just needed to use what I had on hand to make it work. I've been taking photos long enough that I have 2 sets of yearly photo counts. But we can see the database size is 14.3 gigabytes. Over that, 22 terabytes of photos and videos. Total files, 580,000. The most used camera, Canon EOS M50. I did have 2 of those at one point. And we've got the total number of cameras, 111. Nice number. Favorite ISO setting, ISO 100. Number of images and video files, 345,882. Now, it's not going to be perfect. Obviously, I do have some.
Yeah, it's kind of low, honestly. 340,000 since 2002, 2003. Feels low. Now it's not going to
be perfect. Obviously, I do have some random photos. So this isn't going to be
882.
So this isn't going to be a perfect number, but it's cool to see that I took over 300,000. That honestly seems kind of low for how long I've been doing this. But, you know, it is what it is. And that's probably still a little higher than what might be the case, because there could be just some extra stuff on there, like thumbnails that I had made for YouTube and stuff that aren't specifically photos that I had taken. Favorite format, RAW.
Same problem. Man, this is really not cool. Did reinstall it. Pain in the butt. Okay. Favorite format is
RAW, and also the resolution of the camera that I tend to use is around 24 megapixel. So we look at the information. There's maybe a little bit of 2002 photos, 2003, 2007 was a low point for me, 2009 as well. And then things went up a little bit, and I can go to the other set. Looks like 2019 was my largest effort with photos. But 2023 to 2025, not taking too many pictures, I guess. Still super cool to see all this information, see what I've managed over the years. There's the database one as well. Again, more information on what's going on. Very cool. I will need to back up the database information.
still super cool to see all this information.
See what I've managed over the years. There's the database one as well. Again, more information on what's going on.
Just scan
all this stuff. I do want to save that and make sure it's backed up.
All right, I'm gonna make another attempt to the attempts. Let's go back to downloads and then run this thing again. Yes. Let's put this into for information. We've got the
camera summary. So the N50 is the one that I use the most. 50mm f1.8. Most used.
I will need to back
up the database information, considering how long it took to scan all this.
even more information.
We've got the camera summary. So the N50 is the one that I use the most. 50mm f1.8. Most use focal length 50mm, so that would make more sense on full frame, but I did use 50mm lenses on APS-C quite a bit as well. ISO 100, that makes sense. 1/100th of a second shutter speed, and f2.8 for the aperture. That's kind of interesting. And then we can see the different cameras I've used over the years, at least the most popular ones from the N50, D6.
Selected. Makes sense.
1/100th of a second shutter speed and f2.8 for the aperture. That's kind of interesting. And then we can see the different cameras I've used over the years, at least the most popular ones from the M50, D600 from Nikon Z5, which is the one I use now. That's going up in the percentage. The M5 quite a bit. This is a phone, the Revo 5G. Then we've got the Canon EOS M6 Mark II, Pentax K7. I missed that camera. And then another phone, Pentax K5, and then everything else. Then we've got different lenses we can look at. 51.8, my most common. The EFM 32mm f1.4 STM, so that was all the EFM equipment. I must have used that lens quite a bit. Then the Nikon Z, the Nikkor Z 85mm f1.8s. Quite a few photos for that one. 28mm.
The Nikkor Z and the Nikon Z. I must have used that lens quite a bit. The 85mm. Whoops.
1.8s. Quite a few photos for that one. 28mm f1.8. That was a Nikon f-mount lens, G-type. And then the 22mm f2 STM. That was another EFM lens. This one's interesting. 70 to 210 f4. That was a Nikon f-mount lens.
Oops, I'm zoning out. I'm gonna restart this computer just in case. It's more of these fortune cookies. Let's see what my second fortune is. Seek wisdom. Your life will be enriched with knowledge. I try. Learn Chinese. Soy sprouts. Huang Do Ya. Next, it says, you will achieve great peace of mind when you talk with an old friend. And then the back it says, learn Chinese lemon. Ning Ming Meng. Ning Meng. Let's see. Your creativity will have you inspire others. Aw, isn't that nice? Maybe I should keep this one. Slightly offset. I hope so. That's kind of the goal with this whole video thing. And then learn Chinese wonton rapper Yoon Chun P. The only other language I really know is Japanese, and I don't know. I'm not really fluent by far. So I don't know how to pronounce this stuff. Yoon Chun P. Pretty sure you have to, it's tonal. So I'm sure that I'm not saying it right. Durr. Well, of course I can't. Oh, it's 2 commands. Please work. What? Oh. I don't think it's going to work. Try to eat another one of these big rolls. It's like little particulates of very spice hit me. I'm gonna try to eat that thing. I should eat more of these. Ninja. Ninja. Whoops. Of course. Amazing. So stupid. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. This is comical. This is a huge bit of text. Okay. Reviewing new failure. Another breakthrough? It's a success. What? Look at this error message. Oh. Okay. The Ninja build system is working. CMake. We have bypassed all of the previous tool set integration problems. Oh my goodness. We're back to this. You were right on track hours ago with that. But the broken Visual Studio generator was preventing the flag from reaching the compiler. Now with Ninja, it will. We're close, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Ninja and Gemini Pro. Oops, where's the flippin' prompt? Okay. I had to go back. rmdir. All right. Make dir. Okay. All right. This could be it. Copy. And I have to paste between Notepad++. Paste. Copy. Paste. It's in there. This could be it. And this is just the starting portion. So I wanted to try to implement something called RAG. So that this old computer with crappy hardware can hopefully do something useful. Because a 6 gigabyte VRAM GPU is not enough to do big context stuff. Why is it not working? Bro. No. CMake error. Compiling the compiler to source file. I think this is screwed. I can't tell what is what in there, so I'm gonna redo it. Run as administrator. Yes. This is comical. The Nikkor Z
85mm f1.8s. Quite a few photos for that one. 28mm f1.8, that was a Nikon F mount lens, G type. And then the 22mm f2 STM, that was another EFM lens. This one's interesting, 70 to 210 f4, that was a Nikon F mount lens that I used on the DSLRs at the time. But it was a D type lens, so it didn't have a focus motor inside. The Nikkor Z 50mm f1.8s, quite a few photos there, and then just some other ones here. 40 f2 is the one that I still use right now. And then this one's really interesting, the focal length. We've got 0 to 50 millimeters, so it looks like my most used focal length range is 16 to 35. So maybe in the future, if I do want a zoom lens, 16 to 35 would be a good option for me, because that's kind of the most used here. And then the 36 to 70 is another big one, along with 0 to 15. Now, I'm going to talk about things I would hope AC.
And then the 36 to
70 is another big one, along with 0 to 15. Now, I would wish...
things I would hope AC... I'll not include that. Separate this
information by APS-C versus full frame, or just different sensors. I think ACDC should separate this by sensor size, because the focal length...
I'm gonna use the restroom. Let's see. Whoops. This is it, the final problem, and the log is beautiful, frustratingly clear. You've been doing everything right, but we have been let down by subtle detail of how native tools command prompt works. The final definitive root cause. C compiler identifies version is 19.44. Yes, corresponds to your message unexpected compiler version. Still defaulting to the new and compatible compiler. We need to manually force the specific actual final command sequence. What is this? Copy and paste this. This command tells okay. Redo this. Whoops, this one. Run as administrator. CD. Okay, now it's copying pasting. Figure that out. All right. Please work. I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm gonna go use the restroom. Whoa. Holy shit. Actually fucking worked. Come on. This thing is irritating. I just want to copy it. No, I'm not. This is step one. Let's see. Whoops. I'm shocked. New. I don't know how I'm going to turn this into a video though, because the process has been so flippin'. I mean, I guess I don't need to show everything, but I do have the chat log. I could at least turn it into an article. But man, that was a lot. And this is not even the this is like the start of it. Let's see if this works. Yeah, all of that just to compile this llama.cpp thing with CUDA support for my GPU, which is an old Pascal GTX 1060. And that's assuming this compile is going to fully work, which is debatable. We'll see. This is like the baby game. It's not even the difficult stuff. It's kind of funny. I might give it this entire thing as context, just so it can check it. Because it has 1 million token contacts, and I'm at 80,267. So I should probably be fine giving it the whole thing. All right. Things I would hope
ACDC would change in the future for this.
No, I'm not going to. We've got the file. And usually those cameras are more reasonably priced compared to anything with more megapixels to it. What is this? Then we've got the
file subtab in the dashboard. You can see all the files, the resolution. So I mostly do 24 megapixel. That seems like a good compromise. And usually those cameras are more reasonably priced compared to anything with more megapixels to it.
It's cool seeing all that information, but the main thing for me was the AI keywords and the face detection. One thing CDC would change
in the future for
cool seeing all of the dashboard
information and stats on what I did over the years with photo and video, but the main thing I wanted to check out was the AI keywords and the face detection. Let's start with the AI keywords and see what's available and what it found. Just get a feel for that. One thing I did notice, obviously, with this program, as far as I can tell, there's no way to see a big list of the keywords that it found, so I'm kind of guessing it.
It's cool seeing all of the of the keywords that it
found, so I'm kind of guessing at what might be in there to search on. You can go to the individual files and look at what it found, so you'll eventually get an idea of what's available, but yeah, it's kind of difficult. I wish ACDC would add a feature to get a big list of all the AI keywords and the quantities of each one. That would be helpful. That would be super helpful.
Of each one. There will be various ways to search on AI. So you can see that's in the ACDC metadata area. We've got
AI keywords. We're going to add that to the list. Now, obviously, you can define other things like lens focal length or whatever you want to do. But in this case, if I just search on computer, it's a pretty simple one. I know it exists in there.
It was the main reason I have my screen not showing, because it's my full photo archive. I didn't like vet what it was showing. Not that I have anything bad or whatever in it, but I'd like to at least look at it first before I show everything publicly, you know. Still compiling. See, I searched on computer with the AI
keywords, and now I've got a sampling of all that.
Just search on
AI. So you can see that's in the ACDC metadata area. We've got AI keywords. We're going to add that to the list. Now, obviously, you can define other things like lens focal length or whatever you want to do. But in this case, if I just search on computer, it's a pretty simple one. I know it exists in there.
See, I searched on computer
with the AI keywords, and now I've got a sampling of all that. You can see this massive scroll bar of results.
You can see this computer. Everything's computer. almost everything's computer when you think about it. Phones are computer, car is computer. This screen is computer. This computer is computer. That light over there is computer. This one probably as well. Probably has a microcontroller. Maybe even the household light is computer. I'm not sure. Probably has a microcontroller in there. Some sort. Yeah. My audio interface has its own computer inside. Stream Deck. Even the USB thing that I have a USB thing that has multiple ports and then each one has a switch. But even just that itself, USB itself always has most likely always has a microcontroller of some sort between that and the computer. Main computer. You can see this massive
scroll bar of results, in my case, for the archive. You can see some old computers here. Definitely found a good amount. This looks correct.
Oh my goodness.
So some of these aren't quite right, but I mean,
oh my goodness. We've got a thing. I'll give it. Oh, I can't even give it the entire. That's disappointing. What's the limit? Properties? Buffer size. No. Yeah, so I can't even give it the whole thing. Let's see how much the AI hypes for this. Look at that. Yes. This is fantastic news. Congratulations on getting through that incredibly difficult build process. You've successfully navigated a complex web of dependencies, and now we have a custom compiled high-performance llama.cpp ready to go. Before we download, I already have it. Let's run a couple of quick but essential tests to verify that everything, especially the CUDA GPU acceleration, is working as expected. All right, let's go into a native build tools prompt. Bin release. Whoops. Oh, whoops. Bin. Eh. Brother, what? Brother, what? There is no release. There is just... Whoops, what am I doing? This... AI build so there is no release. Most important firm acquisition benchmark. Run the following benchmark. Oh no. Did it not work? Warning. Linking. Did it not work? See a bunch of warnings. Oh my gosh. Is there no benchmark? Mama batched. Simple test. Ah, man. This is so dumb. So dumb. Pinpointing build artifacts. You completed perfectly, you did it. Let me explain the details because 100% correct about what you're seeing. We switched from the build system from Visual Studio to Ninja. The folder structure changed. The Visual Studio generator creates bin release and bin debug. The Ninja generator puts everything into bin so that the warnings, different number types, Llama bench, Llama server. Okay. So it's different name. stay in this build directory, run cmake one last time, but we will do a release build. Copy. Do I need to delete anything? Who knows? All right. Do I need to go back? All right. And this is really something. Excellent connection. Brain. Paste, whoops. Paste without formatting. Let me do... This thing. Yeah, why didn't that work? Yeah, I think some of this is just the AI being confidently wrong or uninformed, which, you know, pretty sure it does have URL context and grounding. But do that. It's probably take a little bit. Whoops. All right. Copy. Paste. Please work. Not that I will probably ever use this in reality on this old computer, but it's a potential future video for the tech channel, or maybe the programming channel. Whoops. Actually, I want this. So once that, and assuming that works. Oh, wait, Yeah, I wonder if that one setting that changed the compiler to use was permanent. Because I didn't do it this time, I don't think. But so far, it looks like it's working. All right. Verify the optimized build. This will override the slow debug executables in the bin folder with the fast optimized release versions. Mama bench. Look for coup blast equals 1. As long as you see that, your GPU is working perfectly. Run the server sanity check. No model specified. But
I mean, it's a good selection here. That's definitely a computer. These are old Super Nintendo games. That doesn't really apply, but it found them anyways. Those are definitely computers. Yeah, so honestly, not bad. Some of it clearly is not computer, but you get the idea. Let's do a search.
As we look here, this is some
CF Midwest. Here are some results from the vintage computer. Here are some. I can see results from the vintage.
Those are definitely computers. I can see results from the
Vintage Computer Festival Midwest. Obviously, that's a lot of computers. So it found those, which is great. Use cases for this are huge. Just trying to find things that I'm looking for. If I want photo examples of a specific thing, I can search on it, and now I'm able to at least find a good selection of that specific thing. In this case, let's search for glasses. I have seen that as a keyword.
on glasses by themselves, not just on a person's face. Looks good. Let's say.
There we go. So it's got a bunch of photos of me, and I am wearing glasses there. That's good. I found a huge amount of results. Yeah, definitely found people with glasses.
All right, searching on car clearly did. So each of those simple keywords that had a massive amount of results. Now it's not perfect by any means, but it does find a good set of each simple keyword. With those simple keywords, it
did find a massive amount of results. Obviously, you can.
Still going. Simple keywords.
It did find a massive amount of results. Obviously, you can add additional keywords or different things you want to limit the size on, like you can do resolution of the photo, camera, or whatever you want to do, just to nail things down and focus it. Obviously, with this advanced search, you can add.
Speed isn't amazing with this old computer, but it's quick enough that it's just looking at a few simple AI keyword terms, you can see that just
looking at a few simple AI keyword terms, you can see that there is a lot of potential with this, and with the massive archive, I just have a huge amount of results. You can limit the search terms, add additional parameters to it, just to narrow your focus on it, which is an option as well. But yeah, it just seems super useful into the future with this.
Okay.
Another big, now with the face detection. Let's
delete that. Just get rid of that. Yeah, this one took a long time to get into the grouped face detection stuff. Linking executable. Okay, it's still, there we go. Nice. It worked. All right. Llama bench. Round 1 CUDA devices. Why did it not load? Let's try. Whoops. Whoops. Can I just paste it? Okay. For some reason paste is all right. Celebrating. Oh man. We're celebrating. Pop out the virtual champagne, guys and gals. And nondescripts. I know you see errors, but those errors are exactly what we want to see at this stage. You have successfully passed both tests and your build is 100% working and ready to go. Let's break down this output. Found 1 CUDA devices. This is important. The subsequent error failed to load model is completely normal. I do have one, but it's in a folder that's different. Server started. Correctly identified. Downloading the AI model. Yeah, well, I already have some, dude. Let's see. Oh, let me do it through here so I can get a easier CD. I don't know how to go back multiple levels. Nice. Nice. I'm a team with electrons. Constructing, crafting. Excellent. You're already ahead of the game. Those are perfect models to start with. The Lava 1.6 Mistral 7B is a fantastic choice. I'm pretty sure that's the open source version of Claude. I could be wrong though. I thought it was a French model. I'm not totally sure. The Frenchies. I could look it up. See. Who makes the Mistral AI? Yeah, French. Mistral. Headquartered in Paris. The company is named after Mistral, powerful cold wind in southern France. Private company. Former employee of Google DeepMind. Maybe it's not connected to Claude. Let me do another quick search here. Different company. Okay. I was wrong with that. Yeah, that's the same page. Okay. So I don't know if this one's good or bad or what, but I have heard of it before. So. So we go into the build bin. I don't know, should I use... Yeah, it still wants me to use this command prompt thing. Dir. Build bin. Build bin? Yeah. Oops. Did you do? Yes. Doing something. It's doing something. Offloading to GPU. Tensors. It's doing something. We're telling it to offload 33 layers of the model to your VRAM. Context size. Any device on your local network, not just the server machine. Port 8080. I think it's still... Actually, I'm not sure if... Does this use port 8080? Starting main loop. All slots are idle. I think it's running. Yeah, I know what my IP address is. So it wants me to go to a web browser. And when I do Mistral, http:// port 8080. Is this correct? Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Yo boy. Hello. That was fast. 25 tokens a second. Yeah. Maybe I'll send it a screenshot. Let's see. Window. Here you go. I'm telling the electrons that it works. Whoops. Did I disconnect? No, it's still here. Oh, do I need to care about this? Might as well give it this as context so that it knows if there's any performance issues or anything that it can potentially console. Whoops. That was weird. Copy. Let's go into here. Scroll down. Oh my goodness. Actually worked. Somehow. I'm gonna reselect the thing I just pasted in here so that it Notepad++ seems to make a better copy paste between the two computers. Okay, take that back. Copy. Paste. No, it's not cooperating. Why is it not working? Copy. No paste. What? That's very strange. Because it was the screenshot? Maybe the screenshot messed it up. Or this thing just decided not to copy paste anymore. Okay, that worked. Actually worked though. Yeah. This is a flawless victory. Man, we're in Mortal Kombat for an AI compiling. I mean, yeah, I don't even know what this would be called. The thing that runs it, runs the model compiler. So it says everything. Oops. Everything in the screenshot and the console text exactly what you want to see. Let's quickly review the receipts. GPU fully utilized. Load tensors. 33 layers offloaded. Vision model. The line clip CTX clip backend confirms that image processing part of the model is also running on the GPU, not the CPU. Excellent performance. Your chat screenshot showed 25 tokens a second for a 7 billion parameter model running on GTX 1060. That's fantastic. Very responsive. Yes, it was. Network is live. The log server is listening on that port and IP address or any IP address. Nice. Next step. You have successfully built and deployed your private GPU accelerated multimodal AI server. Next step, RAG and Visual Studio integration. Now I can move on to the... Actually, I'm curious to see if this will do some of the video stuff I do. Like fixing up my... But the context is kind of small. But fixing up my caption data. So from YouTube's auto captions, I fix them up with ChatGPT usually. I could attempt it on this thing. And another thing that I do is make highlight videos based on caption data from my full videos. But that's gonna, I think I would need more context than 4096. Probably in both cases sometimes. So we'll see. A small model like this just isn't probably going to be great. So That's kind of the point of finding out and seeing what I can do with it. Next step, RAG in Visual Studio integration. This component will give you long-term memory for your code base. Here's the concept. A RAG tool will read your C++ source files and use a special model to turn them into numerical representations, embeddings. Stores these embeddings in a database. When you ask the question like, how does my user manager class handle authentication, the RAG tool will first search its database for the most relevant code chunks. Then it will automatically stuff those code chunks into a prompt context. Visual Studio integration. I'm going to give it a little curveball and see if it will do things for the video work too. Or like adjust the ideas for video work. RAG candidates. Anything LLM. Not in the search results, but very strong contender. It's a fully featured desktop application with a graphical user interface designed for RAG. You can simply point it to your source code folder and it handles everything else. That sounds pretty nice. Cons, less configurable. Verba. This is described as open source turnkey RAG application with a slick UI. Designed to be complete application rather than programming framework. Pros, user friendly for visualizing the RAG process. Explicitly supports providers like OpenAI, meaning it can be pointed at your local server. Maybe less focused on code specifically. Embedded chain. This open source framework focused specifically. It's clear API. Lambda and LangChain. This is a well-known one. LangChain. For your goal of getting powerful anything LLM, self-contained, easy data ingestion, built for local LLMs. I'll just say I create. Using caption data as well as the full video, like 1 frame every half second. Norm. If I'll say hour. Whoops. So I think we're already, the interesting thing is we're kind of past the point where we're giving these things access to the internet. And if you think about it, it's already a security risk in different ways, because it's clear these things are clearly smart enough to do stuff. And now when you give it access to the internet, if you do use a model that hasn't been vetted, it could have like a logic in it somewhere, or ways of doing things that it might do stuff when it gets access to the internet. Let's see. I mean, that's unrelated to the whole AI danger itself, but more like malicious model creators. What you could do is monitor what it does on the internet, see what websites it goes to and stuff. Which I don't know offhand how I would do that. This is an excellent and forward-thinking expansion of the project. You're correctly identified that the same core components, powerful local AI model and RAG pipeline, can be adapted to completely different, highly complex tasks. Let's break down the video to content pipeline idea. See what realistically achievable with your setup, using a web search to see the state of the art. The concept, multimodal RAG for video. Your intuition is spot on. What you're describing is an advanced form of RAG called multimodal RAG. Standard RAG for your code takes text, converts it to numbers, embeddings, and then retrieves relevant text chunks to answer. Multimodal RAG for video takes both text and images, video frame data, converts them both to a shared numerical space, and retrieves the most relevant text chunks and images to perform a task. This is cutting edge, but the open source community has been moving fast. See, that's a fantastic and powerful use case. You're absolutely correct that RAG is the key to making this work, especially with the large context of transcripts, and multimodal nature of video frames. Based on the search results, current state of open to thoughts, suggested plan. The local multimodal RAG pipeline feasible? Yes, it's feasible. Entirely feasible. Search results confirmed that the tools and techniques required to build RAG system for video are available in the open source community. So it gave me a bunch of links. We've got Google searches for Vertex AI search something, cloud something or another, but maybe it's just the link. Yeah, I'd have to go like this. Take one of these. Let's see what it gave me. Gives me a redirect notice. Okay, so yeah, I found, for example, this GitHub multimodal RAG with videos. Man, okay. Let's see. Then it says, however, there are two key considerations, probably slow hardware, complexity. This is a much more complex task than programming assistant. Turnkey applications like anything LLM are not yet equipped for this kind of advanced video pipeline. Building this will require custom Python code, like llama index. Hardware demands. Highlight text only. Your server can handle this reasonably well. Analyzing a long transcript is a CPU intensive but manageable. Article generation, text plus frames. This will push your hardware to the limit, absolute limit. Extracting, embedding thousands of frames is time consuming. More importantly, includes that even a few images and prompt dramatically increase the VRAM and RAM usage. Much slower than text generation. A phased approach. I recommend tackling this in two distinct phases. Phase 1, highlight generation, text-only RAG. This solves your first use case and is perfect stepping stone. The workflow. So it wants me to use this one again. Anything LLM. The easiest way to get a RAG system running. It says place your video's text caption file into the designated folder. Processes and indexes. Yeah. Okay. Phase 2. Article generation. Tool choice. Llama index. With the search results confirm that this is the leader in the area. Process, video processing, using a library like MoviePy to automatically extract the transcript, if not already available, and save one frame every half second to a temporary folder. Indexing. Create a multimodal vector store. This involves creating numerical embeddings for both the text chunks and transcript. Okay. Retrieval. When you want to write an article, the script will query this database and retrieve the most relevant text and images. Generation. All right. This approach is incredibly powerful. Represents state of the art. That's phase 1. Both for programming and video highlight generation. All right. I think I'm going to end stream for today, but it works. That's cool. And because I don't really expect much given the models I can use. But the whole RAG thing could make it interesting. We'll see. It's pretty cool though. Nice that it actually works on this old hardware on Windows, especially. Probably would have been easier using Linux to get that running. So 25 tokens a second was pretty quick, but obviously this isn't much context and such. Reasoning. Show the thought process. Oh, let's see. Let's make a simple C++ to shift the letters in make it like a game. Okay, this one probably doesn't do look at the context go up. So it said C out, C in, enter a number to shift, enter a word for char C word, char shifted, C plus shift, C out shifted. Yeah, that looks reasonable. I haven't done C++ coding in a long time, but that looks like it might work. It doesn't have any error correction, or I mean, input checks. Whoops, what did I just press? I don't know what I pressed. Okay, it's using try catch. Yeah, I don't know if that's in C++. Okay, it's using the standard exception library, so maybe that's the thing that gives try catch functionality. Probably. Return one, catch, get line, C in word. Yeah. Pretty cool. Nice, nice, nice. All right. So that was Mistral 7B. Lava, or Llama Lava, whatever it's called. It was, yeah, LLAVA. Now, how do I stop this server thing? Control C, maybe? Nope. Does it show in here? Control C. I cannot do anything. What is this thing called? Llama Not my server. What was this thing called? Native tool. All right. Examining the core issue, redefining shutdown strategies, exploring termination options, taking over the planet, killing all humans. Close the console window. The brute force method. Clicking the X will stop the server. Control C. This is the... But it didn't work. Sometimes... Task manager, task, kill. Control Shift Escape. Okay, now it worked. Figure that out. Nice. Okay. Anyways, that was fun. And actually got something working. So, pretty cool. And in the future, I'd like to keep going with that and do the rag thing. See what we can do with it. The figurative we. So I'm going to shut this thing down. Bye-bye. I'm going to turn off this screen here. I will make a copy of this chat thing. Just in case. It's at 110,993 tokens, which is about a tenth, a little bit over a tenth of what Gemini Pro is capable of using as context. But as it gets more and more, as it gets larger, it would probably have some issues. I've noticed that when I have really large context stuff. Get rid of that. Need to work on this video. So that's a thing as well. There was a company that was supposed to send me some camera gear, but I haven't heard anything about it. So I don't know if that's going to happen. But anyways, I'm going to head out. Peace. Hopefully you see it after the fact. Hopefully it was amusing. But yeah. See ya.